Okay, so broadcast is live. I see that. Is that you or me?
I just hit the live button. We ready to rock and roll.
Okay, so that's your live. You've started.
I started.
Okay, I started my live on YouTube 7 minutes ago.
Oh,
so
okay.
I gotta
open your live.
I started my live.
There we go.
Hey, how about this? Okay, we can only see you. Okay, so my audience can only see me. They can't see you. See, that looks amazing. I can see you on this live stream that you're on this StreamYard, but when I go to my channel, it's just me.
That's weird because I put you in and I'm trying to figure out why you can't see me.
Okay. Hey guys, can you hear Yusef? Can you hear this guy talking? Do you plan to visit Paraña? I don't know where that is, but if it's beautiful, yes.
Or wait a minute, how about reload your page? I don't
know. Okay, let's try that.
Not the StreamYard, but the other one because I'm looking at you on your Q&A.
Oh, shoot.
So my team says they can see both of us with no problem. I don't know what's happening on your side.
Okay, so I'm on YouTube and you're on StreamYard.
Go to the YouTube page. You should be. Wait a minute. I put in your information, and it popped back in. You turned. You turned off.
When I reloaded my page, it just turned off.
Okay, that's fine. Let me do this. Let me put your information.
Oh, I have mercy.
Hold on, we're gonna. Because my team is saying we see and hear both of you. See that on the screen?
Yeah. Okay.
So
hi.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to reload everything and see if this works. I'm gonna put your server URL back in.
Okay, so let me restart my live, I guess, or go back in and start another one because.
And start another one and give me your server URL again.
So edit in studio. Hold on.
Yeah, her live stream went off. We're trying to get her back on again.
If it's too complicated, then I mean.
We had it going. We had the magic.
I know. Then I reloaded my page and it shut off.
So if you give me the same two numbers again, or another two numbers for another live stream, it'll just do a different one and give me the same two numbers.
Okay. Hey, look it. It's like, okay, caption as they close. Can you hear me now? Her live stream went off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you just fine. Just give me the same two numbers again. If you text me those numbers again, we're good.
Well, now, Yusef, I have a whole nother screen that's like an edit of my last video that I just got off.
So do you have the numbers again?
No. Hold on. I don't like figuring this out while we're live because I'm like nervous. And now my YouTube studio is okay. Your stream will stop immediately. Okay, not yet. So I don't exit stream. No, I don't know where I'm at in this situation right here. Here, maybe this will help.
Whatever you did in the beginning to send me those same two numbers that I input, those are the correct numbers. If you give me those numbers, I'll put them back in.
Okay, stream finished, live chat. Studio.
Because I can try the same ones or you can give me different ones.
Okay, I think we're going to the next page. Or I'm trying it again. It's just loading. Live chat with, okay, so, all right. Close the door.
My team, I want to say thank you for showing up, guys. The guys who were with me last night when I did this with Carl, everybody that I'm trying to show how to do this, hey, we all get there differently, but you know who I am. You know how I get out. I'm going to be patient. These are my friends. I appreciate everybody giving us their feedback. While you're sitting here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. How you doing, Yassine? Thanks for showing up. Brother Howard Cooper, thanks for showing up.
Where to go live. Chat with. So that's where. So we're slowly getting back on. Okay. I think we're almost there. How did you figure this out before? I feel like I'm really low tech right now.
I do. Well, here's the thing. It's like you told your friends in the beginning. Live is what I do. So.
Okay. So I gave you the numbers. I did what I did before.
Let me add the numbers.
Hi, Howard. Hi, guys. Can people hear me on your channel? I'm live on your channel. Okay, so how come you're not streaming through YouTube? You're using StreamYard.
Because StreamYard allows me to bring other people in and do things like that. So I just tried to add you.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I am live, I believe. And it looks good on my end. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Yep.
Yeah, so from my end, it says live. It's giving me a time. I don't see anyone popping on, but that's just because I hung up on everyone, I think. So as far as I can tell, this is working. I hear both of you clearly. Thank you, BK.
So I'm going to go to your page and I'm going to look and see if I see your live up right now.
Okay.
Because I see the old one.
You see the old one?
Yep.
Is there a new one?
I don't see it just yet. Hold on.
Oh, you know why? Hold on.
Are you private?
Yeah, it looks like I'm private. And let me...
Did you guys hear that? She's got everything set to private. That's why it wasn't showing up.
Public. Here we go. Okay. All right. I think we're good now. I think we got it.
Oh my goodness. Can you see both of our faces?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. I think.
Good.
So if it's public, it should be on your feed now, and I should be able to go in as well, right? And look at your screen from just my regular YouTube.
Yeah. Go check it out. It should be there.
I just reloaded your page. Come on.
You see it?
Your page is still loading. I don't know why.
I know. You know what? On my YouTube, it's just like there's like a big lag, but.
Oh, I think we're there. Yes, I think.
Hey guys, if you can hear me or see me, leave me a comment. Because I don't know. Okay, so.
Yes. We did it.
Okay, we're on live chat?
Yes. We did it.
Oh, good. Okay, let's get started. Let's finally get started.
What do you mean, let's get started? We got started a long time ago.
I know, 10 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. Thank you for being patient.
He said, we hear you both.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh man. Okay, so Yusef, all the way from Sao Paulo, how are you?
Life is good. The game has truly been good to me. But let's do this. I don't know if my people know who you are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a link to your YouTube page. Tell them who you are and all what. How many of you got? Like 9 people in your family, something like that?
I know, a lot. 7, 5 kids. My husband and I and 5 kids.
Jeez. So tell
Yeah.
them who you are.
Okay, my name is Shanika McFly. I was born and raised in Reno, Nevada, and I lived there my entire life. Actually, my kids are 4th generation Nevadans, so we got roots in Reno, Nevada, and lived there our entire lives until about 3.5 years ago when we picked up and moved to Salvador, Brazil, Salvador Bahia. We lived there for 2 years, and then we've been in Rio de Janeiro for the last almost year and a half. And we came to Brazil to start a business, which I can tell you about, and to allow our children to immerse our children into a new language, a new culture, and live it up in Brazil. So our business is, hey, that's us, Our Brazilian Life. This is my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. But we opened a trampoline park called Big Jump USA. We opened the first one in Salvador. Hey. And that was going super good, and we wanted to expand our business. So we came over to Rio, super excited, back in December of 2019. Ugh. And we're just like ready to go. And then we get here and we had signed the lease on the mall we were going to put our trampoline park in, and we got our trampoline shipped, and then everything shut down. So since then, it's been an interesting, complicated, stressful, but really good journey that's actually working out. We opened about 6 months ago, and people are coming. We just got off of our second lockdown, so we were shut down twice, but we're open today. So I'm grateful for every day that we're open, and we're here having a lot of fun, just living life in Brazil, living to the fullest, actually trying to experience everything we can.
So let's do this. Hello to American Brazil. These are some of my regulars. They're big supporters of the team, supporters of all the people that come on with me. So you're gonna meet a lot of new friends.
American Brazilian, hey. Thank you.
Yeah, you know that guy, he gets around.
Yeah, American Brazilian.
Yeah, love that guy.
Good.
So you know what? You and I don't know if we came across each other on Instagram or on, I don't know where it was, but we ended up catching up together, and I was like, hey, we should do a chat. And then you said, well, yeah, let's do it. First it was going to be on your channel, then it was on mine. And then I said, listen, it's actually not that big of a deal if you want to do it together. And you can see, with all the problems that we just had, it actually wasn't that hard.
Yeah. And hi guys, I've got people on my side commenting. Boa noite, Alberto. Hello guys, thank you for joining us. I miss you guys in Salvador. Hey. Okay, cool. All right.
And now one thing that you can do when we do this on your channel the next time, you'll be able to do little things like, popping things up like that.
Cool. That's amazing, actually. I love that. Nice work. I feel like I need a tutorial from you first.
Okay, it'll be the most awesome 15 minutes of your life, but okay.
Okay. It's pathetic. We've had our channel. I made our first video the week before we moved here, and this whole time I've never gone live. So you're my first. Thank you for initiating me.
Follow the family on Instagram.
Hey.
I can't type and do other stuff. So
I know.
boom, that up there.
Asking. Hey. Cool, Yusef. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Put that up for him. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you think this is something, wait until we get done when I show you how to chop a piece of this that you can then upload to your Instagram and then drive more people to the videos.
Oh, cool. Thank you. That's really cool. So Ben Jenkins is asking, how are schools for your children in Rio? Is there a lot of paperwork to open a business? So is there a time for questions, Yusef? Do you want to keep chatting? Do you have questions for me first?
Well, here's the thing. We have a very free-form, free-flowing. As chats come up, as questions come up that feed into what we're doing, we're going to get to everybody. But first, I want to go into, I have a lot, and I don't want this to be strictly dedicated to business. We actually have a private Patreon where we do a lot of, I tell people it's a lot less fun and more business on the Patreon account. The Patreon account is where a lot of the, you and I will have to have a private conversation with our Patreon people as well, because these are the men that are generally investors. These are the people who do a lot of international business. You two might do well to become part of that group. We got a lot of really good quality people through there. And what I'll do is I'll show everyone, for those who don't know, I'll show everyone my Patreon. So this is where I tell people on Patreon, less fun, more business. Don't go to my Patreon if you think that's where we're going to be joking and blah, 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 blah. This is where we talk about, I love money. I tell people all the time, I retired when I was 37 years old. And that's because I genuinely love money. It's like my first favorite thing ever, And on Patreon, it's more business, less fun. However, we do have people that come on that talk about how they bootstrap their business. We have everything from self-published authors to people who run shipping and drop shipping businesses from China that come on. We talk about the nuts and bolts of what we did to start our businesses, how our businesses became profitable, and we guide each other through those steps. We all free flow information. That's something I hope that you guys can be a part of, and everybody here knows how to get through that. So
that sounds amazing. I'm interested.
Yeah. So when he said the paperwork, was it a lot? I'm going to give you a confession about my businesses, because I do expat relocation services. I do a couple of cryptocurrency things. For me, I don't do, I earn money outside of Brazil. I earn money either in crypto, pound sterling, or dollars. And I do geo arbitrage, meaning I can earn money elsewhere, spend it here.
That's smart. That's very smart.
But you guys have a chain of bounce parks, right?
2, yeah.
Well, that counts as a chain. It's more than one.
Yeah. Yep. Call it a chain. And if all goes well, it will be a franchise in the future. That was the original plan, and the pandemic kind of changed that for a little bit, but that's still the hope.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that you're not taking applications for franchising right now?
At the moment, no. I mean,
you just broke a lot of hearts.
I know. Well, it's a conversation. It's a conversation, and it's one that we've had, and I feel like we could be there. We could get to that point pretty quick, but we just kind of backed off everything because of the pandemic right now. We almost went back home to the States with nothing, and we decided to stick it out, and I'm glad we did, but it wasn't easy. And so we're like, you can't plan anything this year. You cannot plan a single thing. So yeah, in the future, that's my dream, is absolutely to stay here, live it up, franchise, bring like an incredible, super fun business to, kids and families here in Brazil, and yeah, live it up. But I'm just taking one day at a time right now.
Well, you know what? This has been some hard times for a lot of us. I'm glad that you stuck it out.
Me too.
I'm glad that you decided to stay here, because all other things being equal, and this is something we get into a lot of political discussion on this channel as well. Any place for an American is better than in the United States right now.
I agree.
It's a terrible thing what our country is going through, but it's one of those things that I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we have this as an option. I'm glad that you're here. Mike even said facts. But on the upside, so what were you guys doing in the United States that then made you decide, we should move to Brazil and open some trampoline parks?
You know what? Nothing. That's why. Actually, we were stressed and like not happy with our lives. So my husband, he lived on the Amazon when he was 19 and 20. He lived there for 2 years. He lived in Belém de Pará. And so he already spoke Portuguese. He loved the language. He loved Brazil. He came back. I met him when he came back. We got married. He was telling me the most amazing things. I'm like, you have to take me to this place. So he brought me to Brazil when we were married for only like 3 years. We've been married for 18 years at this point. But brought me to Rio. We spent some time here, and then we spent some time where he lived on the Amazon, and I fell in love. I thought Brazil was a tropical paradise, and got a little baby here. Say hi. Hi. This is Alice. This is one of my children.
Oi, boa tarde, Alice.
What'd you say?
Boa tarde, como vai?
I didn't understand.
He said, boa tarde, como vai?
Bem. Good.
So anyway, we had some history with Brazil. We came to travel. We already love Brazil. We love the country. My husband had Brazilian friends. So then we're in the States, and I have 5 babies, and my husband's in the corporate world. He worked for an engineering firm. He's working like 80 hours a week. We never see him. He's coming home stressed. And we were both exhausted and stressed and not very happy. And we were like, something needs to change. And it was kind of interesting because we were at this phase in our life where my husband had already been applying for jobs. He worked for this company for 10 years, and I call it golden handcuffs. It's one of those jobs where you hate it, but you pay well, good benefits, so you don't leave, but you're completely miserable. That was my husband. So he had been looking for jobs for a year or longer, but nothing was like panning out, wasn't working out, which is crazy because he's got a great resume. And then we get this opportunity to like sell everything and invest in Brazil. And for me, the first conversation, I was like, yep, I'm in. I'll sell it. I'll sell the house. I'll pack the bags. Like, let's go. And my husband was like, no, who does that? Like, let's be responsible and think about this, right? Because at the time I was a stay-at-home mom. So if he doesn't work, we don't eat, right? So he's the responsible one, which is good. And he was like, he needed just time to wrap his mind around that, to do the research, the homework, work the numbers, talk to people. And so he did that. And then at the end, he was like, let's go. And as soon as he gave me the green light, I put our house on the market and we sold it in one day.
Wow.
And we even had a nice little bidding war on it. We got more than we even asked for it. And then from there was like a series of chains of events that happened that just let us know that this was the path we should be on. We should be moving to Brazil. Like this was exactly what we should be doing. Not that it was easy. Like it wasn't easy, but it like flowed, it worked. And there were like many miracles along the way. So yeah. So that's basically it.
Wow. Yeah, that was way more complicated. I understand what you mean about golden handcuffs. A lot of people know me. I retired from the financial industry. I did a lot of work in investments, insurances, cash value life insurance. It's a great business to be in. And I remember when I left the industry, people who worked with me, my manager, they thought I was going to go to another firm. They're thinking, why are you doing this? You're making money. You have this house. I had a big house, 4 bedrooms, 2 cars, swimming pool, hot tub, parties every weekend. But I had already traveled the world a bit. And I understood what I wanted. I understood that, I've lived in about 16 countries, 15 countries. And I decided that I'm okay with that. I don't have any children. I don't have a wife. I don't have any kids. So for me, the timing between this sounds like a good idea, even if it's not, and then doing it is like 0.70 nanoseconds. So I was like, moving. And so I went to China for 2 years in Shanghai, China. And then I came to Brazil after that because I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm on that eternal blue belt journey. For people who know what's up, you know what I'm talking about. And I came to Brazil. And I took 2 years to have fun. And then I decided I wanted to stay here. I decided that I wanted to, at the end of that, I decided, hey, I am going to take 1 year to find everything that I do not like about this place. Everything that I don't like. I figured out what I didn't like, balanced it against other countries. Now, Brazil is my home now. Am I still going to travel? Absolutely. But for me, I did my permanent residency here and decided that this was going to be my thing. What about you guys? You guys get citizenship, permanent residency?
Yeah, we're on investors' visas.
Okay.
So Yep, you invest in the country, and you know, you have to put a lot of money in the bank. So for our visas, as we were applying, I don't know how you did it, but we had to. This way, we had to sell our house because you have to have cold hard cash in the bank, and then a Brazilian broker approves it, and then they stamp your visa and they let you come to the country. And then when we got here, we were really relieved to see that our money was here because we, you know, had to transfer it into a Brazilian bank account from the States. So we got here, the money was still here, which is good. And then we opened our business with it. And so that gave us permanent visas, and they are indeterminate. So we can stay for as long as we want.
You know what? That's something we're going to have to talk about on the Patreon. That's the kind of discussion that my people like to hear. Now, and Mike asked a question. Mike, we're going to talk about that when we get on the Patreon. We want to have a serious business discussion. And it's interesting because he said, I don't know how you did it. I run an expat relocation services company. That's what I do. After helping a lot of friends do it, I went into it as a business about 2 years ago. And I tell people everyone can catch me on LinkedIn. This is where I put a lot of my professional stuff. And you can see here, these are things that you're going to find very familiar. You see all this junk, SUS, all that stuff. I get people registered through all those things and get them all those things. And I tell people when they find me on LinkedIn, don't just look at the resume. I tell people to go to the bottom. And this is something that anybody, I don't want you to just trust. Just like you said, you had to just trust that your money was here. I always have my references. You know, these are other people who say, yes, Yusef is what he says he is and does what he says he does. And they're more than happy to endorse me professionally. So that's where I put all these things down here.
Cool.
But that's what I do.
Excellent.
So if anybody on your channel needs help coming to Brazil, they can contact me directly, or they can contact you and have you give me a bell. This is what I do all day, every day.
That's great, because people ask me all the time, how do I do? What do I do? We're coming. Can I do this, do that? And I know some things, but I don't know it all. And now I can direct them to you. Great. Fantastic.
And you don't have a park in Sao Paulo yet, right?
No. And interestingly enough, Sao Paulo is the only state in Brazil that has trampoline parks. All the rest of Brazil doesn't. So we're the first in Salvador, first in Rio. So we haven't made our way to Sao Paulo yet, because you actually
We're gonna have that talk.
Trust me, many people like to educate us and tell us where we need to be. And Sao Paulo, they're like, that's where all the money is. That's where you need to be. That's the population. And we agree.
And see, for me, people ask me, where would I be if I wasn't in Sao Paulo, and why did I come to Sao Paulo? It's like you said, Sao Paulo is where all the money and education is. Now, there's going to come a day when I want to hang up my gun, so to speak, and, you know, maybe be that old guy that gets up in the morning with a white suit on, telling all the kids about what it was like when I was their age. Maybe that's when I go to Salvador.
Okay. Have you been to Salvador? Like, have you visited Salvador?
Yeah.
Because I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Now, what made you guys move? You just had to.
Just to expand. If we weren't trying to expand, I would be very happy in Salvador and stay there. Just subscribe to your channel. Thank you, American Brazilian. I'll hit you back too if you have a channel.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, I'm on it after this. So I love Salvador. I still love it. But yeah, Rio was the next best place. I mean, you know, Sao Paulo too, but Rio for us was the next best place. It was like more big time, more people, you know.
I don't like Rio. People get mad, but I'm like,
What? I know, come on, why? I don't like, because do you live in the city of Sao Paulo? I'm like, why would you move to Brazil and live in the city? You have to live on the coast. I mean, what's life without the beach?
Let me tell you something. You guys have the beach, but that's all you have. We get all the other stuff. Sao Paulo, let me give you an average day. There are people in this chat right now who will testify because they've come and hung out with me. This is what you can do in Sao Paulo. And I'm willing to put my agenda for a day in Sao Paulo up against yours and a day in Rio. So you can get ready. You're next. You wake up.
Okay.
In the morning. Let's say we have an average Brazilian breakfast. We're going to have some coffee and some toast. At 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll go to the Museum and Institute of Sound and see an international film festival dedicated to everything from maybe anime to comic books. Then maybe at around 11, I can go to a restaurant that's, I don't know, we can have a Japanese man cooking Japanese food. We can have a man from Austria cooking Austrian food. We can go to a Lebanese restaurant cooking Lebanese food. Then after that, maybe have a relaxing afternoon. Let's say you don't want to go to any place that's so quiet and so small because you spent the morning doing that. We can go to Ibirapuera Park, which is the largest park in South America. It has more stuff in it than any other place. It's got 3 giant just 3 giant museums, 3 or 4 giant stadiums for music. You can walk through Able to Put a Park and literally do everything from seeing people breakdancing to balloon animals to getting the family on those bicycles to just taking a nature walk. Or my personal favorite, I take everyone to the the Afro-Brazil History Museum. It's a beautiful place. I go there at least once a month when they change the exhibits. And then in the afternoon, we'll go to the Blue Note Jazz Club and we'll listen to a Brazilian drummer sitting in with a Cuban band with an American singer. And then decide where we want to go for dinner, or do we even want to go to a foreign place for dinner? Maybe we'll sit on Paulista Avenue and have our dinner under the streetlights, watching the traffic go by and seeing all the people having their. Can you do that in Rio? You get robbed in Rio if you go outside, don't you? Yeah.
How much time have you spent in Rio, Yusef?
I've gone there for clients that needed me, and I've spent. Go ahead.
Exactly. If you haven't spent, I could do all that in Rio and go to the beach. All of those international restaurants, all the international scenes, the international people, they're here too. But if you haven't taken the time to see it, don't take my word for it. You need to come visit me.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You don't want to say it. You're like, this woman's crazy, but I love that. All that international amazing stuff is going down here too.
All right, I just keep having so many friends that come to Sao Paulo and they all say, wow, it's so different here. I feel so much safer. There's so much stuff to do.
They say that about Salvador. Rio, people who live in Rio say that about Bahia. The Baianos say that about Cariocas. Like they all say that about each other. I feel so much better here. Or this is better than that place. But I'll tell you what, you got to experience it for yourself. Don't base your opinion off of what your friends say. You have to experience Rio for yourself and spend some time. You got to like really legitimately spend the time to find the cool spots, like not a year or a month, a couple weeks, but then it'll open up to you and you'll see all the nightlife and all of the restaurants that we have here as well. So and
read what he just said.
What'd you say?
Read what he just said.
There's no place like Brazil and Madureira, That's in Rio, right?
I don't know exactly what it is.
I think that's a bairro in Rio, right? Fight Club?
I don't know. Google it.
You're good at multitasking. Meanwhile, I have tons of comments on my page. Tons and tons of comments.
So this is what I'll do then. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to say this. First, I'm going to say to the Runway Boys, stop by my channel and let's go live to talk about it. You're welcome to come by. He said it's in Zona Norte. So Runway Boys, I'm also going to put up my email address. I want you to shoot me an email with your number and give me a call. Let's see. And so you go ahead and start answering questions from your screen.
Okay. So let me back up here. I saw a couple questions. All right. Hello. Boa noite. Looking good. Thank you. So how are the schools for your children in Rio? And is there a lot of paperwork to open a business? So the schools in Rio, actually, my kids aren't attending school in Rio. They are homeschooled. We are actually attending an American Science Academy online. So we started this not this year, but last year before the pandemic, actually, because in Salvador, we immersed them into a private Brazilian school. So they could learn the language and participate in the culture. And in fact, we were the only Americans that didn't put our kids in the one American school they have there. So that was cool. It was great. They're fluent in Portuguese. And then when we got here, we really needed to catch up in like formal English and formal type of schooling. And so we decided to homeschool. And that was like actually the best decision. We have this amazing program. It's called Acellus, and it's a fully accredited, basically private school online, science-based. It's amazing. And my kids had a really successful year on it. And so I didn't have all of the nightmare with all the other moms who are in the international schools that were just complaining about all the off and on, in and out with the pandemic. But the schools in Rio are massively expensive. It's like 5,000 reais a month per kid. And that's not including registration fees, uniforms, books,
Well,
transportation.
I gotta give you. I don't know what it's like there. Here in Sao Paulo, we have quite a few private academies, and I have friends who are teachers in them. Even the most expensive ones give a higher quality education than any public American school, and the private schools here for $1,000 US a month are giving some of the highest quality education, because I know some of the administrators and teachers, I mean, there are people with master's degrees that are teaching regular classes. Now, for my friends, they find that far more attractive than going to a private school in the United States. But then my friends usually have like 1 or 2 kids. I understand you're a multiple of 5, so you have to 5 kids times $1,000 each would eat up anybody's wallet. Yeah.
Well, and it was 80,000 reais just to register my kids for school, like just the registration fees. And I was like, that's not, there's a lot of hidden costs because you have to pay for the monthly subscriptions on the tablets and the programs that the school uses, plus books. And still, but you're still, no, regardless, with 5 kids, I really felt like it was crazy. Here in Rio, they have all the schools, German, Switzerland, tons of British schools, American schools. They have all these different languages. And so people like that they have those options with all the different international, like the international, like what's it called, baccalaureates, AB,
Right.
type of education with all the different languages as well. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have a company paying for it and you want your kids to speak German, cool. But for us, we needed to get creative because we were starting a business here. So, and again, I didn't have to deal with the headache because now all those parents were still paying those fees, but then their kids were at home trying to do Zoom school and the parents had to be right there. And it was actually a nightmare for some of the moms who had to work, and then they had all of a sudden had to start homeschooling. So for us, it worked. And it's not something like eventually I would like to put my kids in an international school here. I do think the education is quality. I think it's hopefully higher than, the public education in the States. I do. But I also hear a lot of complaints as well from my mom friends who are here and in the middle of it. So for me, it's just nice to stay out of the drama with this year. And it's been the one thing that's been easy and smooth for us. And we haven't had to worry about it.
Wow. Yeah, I'd like for you. We should do another conversation, on the on what it's like just being just doing the homeschool. I mean, that's got to be by itself. That's got to be interesting.
We set up a system. You always got to have a system for your life, for your family, for your business, because having a large family is like having a small business. And so we have some systems and we have it down, and it's worked. So there was another question. Is there a lot of paperwork to open a business? Yusef, I bet you could answer this.
Depending on how you want to do it. Now, for most of my clients, the people that I bring to Brazil and my friends, most of us are business people that can run off a laptop. We are people who do different investment options, everything from day trading to buying and holding. We're people who have maybe they have a business in the United States, or even renting out their house in the United States. Renting your house in the United States and bringing in, an extra 1,000 here is more than enough to cover your expenses. As far as paperwork for opening a business in Brazil, I'm not very fluent in that. I have a small business license that allows me to hire Brazilians. I have a couple of Brazilian assistants. But as far as opening a business here, I haven't done that. Because realistically, if you're coming into Brazil as someone who was born in the United States or one of the other English-speaking countries, it's almost you're hustling backwards if you want to work and earn reais. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The answer to the question is yes. Yes, there's a ton of paperwork, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't really ever stop. And you're absolutely right. There's only a few unique businesses where you can make enough money to earn more than you would in the States, I guess, because otherwise you're right. It's so smart to just earn dollars. Half the time I tell people, teach English online for kids in China. That'll pay you the most. Like, don't come here and try to get a job because you're just not going to make what you would even come making in the States. In our case, we have a big enough business. And when we were doing this, when we were setting up our business, there was an American family who who actually was the first family that opened up 3 trampoline parks in Sao Paulo. They're called Urban Air. But they did a little franchise. They have 3 parks. I think 2 of them are closed now because of the pandemic. But so they were actually the ones that gave us this idea, and we ended up doing our own thing and not buying into their franchise, but they taught us, and they were really transparent with their business numbers. And so we got to see like it was worth it and it was successful. And so that was one of the things that helped us know that if we came here and did this, we would make our money back, our house and our savings and everything that we spent to get here and to start the business. But it's really hard to do. Like I've had lawyers, friends that are highly educated, and they're like, we want to come live in Brazil. And I'm like, you can't be a lawyer here. You can't really do much here that's going to earn you more than what you could earn in the States.
Actually, I have some clients that are attorneys that you can, with them, depending on the type of visa that I get for them, you can practice here. Most of them just practice American law.
Here?
Yeah, it's possible. I've done it. I'm in the process of doing it now.
And do they make good money doing it?
Well, you got to remember, their clients aren't Brazilian. So yeah, they're making great money. Good. When my clients, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When people talk to me about coming here, I counsel them against doing any work in the country. I counsel them on finding something they can do. And how do I say this? An unintended consequence of the pandemic is a lot of businesses and people realizing they don't need to go to the office.
That's good.
And so when companies realize that, companies that in the past would say, no, we'll never let anybody just work from their home, they'll be lazy, are now like, fine, as long as you're still doing the job.
Yeah. And I love it. I think it would help. That's going to help so many different people just stay out of traffic, have sanity, get more stuff done, be more productive, be comfortable. I think it's an incredible thing. And that's actually the kind of one of the big fears we had, is that our business is super social. It's a trampoline park. We've got over 60 trampolines, basketball courts, tirolesas, zip lines, and climbing walls, and it's all meant to come and play. It's an indoors facility, and so we're like, this is completely social. There's no way around it. There's no doing Zoom classes, and it's almost impossible to social distance because it's a ton of interconnected trampolines. So that was the hard part, was that, how do we make this work during a pandemic? And so we kind of just crossed our fingers, and when we opened, people came. We were in it too deep to turn around. Like, we were planning on this great business to have, outside of a pandemic, and we just weren't planning on it like everyone else. We had no clue. And so then here we are, stuck, and we have to make a decision. Do we go home and lose everything, or do we stay here, take out a loan to stay here, finish building the park, because our other one in Salvador was closed. So we weren't making any money in our other park, and then we're building this other one, and then there was all these other complications and things that took longer and more money. So we had to take out loans to stay here and do it. And it was a risk. Like, do we stay here and open this park that no one knows about? They don't even know what a trampoline park is, and it's social. So I'm glad we did, because it has been worth it. It's been actually pretty successful, more successful than Salvador when it's open, besides the closures.
Wow. That was a leap of faith. So thank you, first of all, for being very clear about some of the difficulties that you have to go to. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, I don't know how to even.
Yeah, it's what it is. Everybody. And I mean, there's so many stories and so many levels of just complicated heartache, pain, death, and no one's died in my family from the pandemic. And that's what I'm grateful for. Like, we're surviving another day and we're healthy. And so I always believe in positivity and just gratitude. And every day that we're open, I'm thankful. Every day that we're healthy and strong, I'm thankful. Every day that we live in Brazil, I'm thankful, because it is beautiful. It blows my mind. I still pinch myself every day. I'm like, I'm living this tropical dream, and I don't ever want to go home. I want to stay here and make this work. And we're very blessed. We just need to get through this time, and then I know it'll be successful.
There you go. Well, What is your next big move? Are you guys planning on using this time to break out with more, or how are you planning on doing it? Are you doing more? Are you doing more businesses? Are you planning on, when this is over, coming back with what you have now? How are you planning on doing it?
We are true entrepreneurs. We love business, and our main focus is Big Jump USA, but my husband has some little side things going on with some other Brazilian friends. If we had some good opportunities, we're interested. But I know our priority is to grow Big Jump. If we're going to stay here, and it kind of depends because the exchange rates are terrible. Ultimately, we'd love to have a few big jumps and at some point sell them or keep them and go back to the States, but then bringing reais back, exchanging it back into dollars is terrible right now. So when we look at a long-term plan based off the numbers now, we're like, maybe it's not that smart because we lose so much. But if we stay here, it's worth it. And I could stay here. I could stay here. Sometimes I have these days where I miss my family and, miss the old days. But 90% of the time, I'm like, I'm good. I'm loving this life we have here because it's provided us so much freedom. Like my husband was just a slave to the corporate game and we never saw him. And now he's here. He's, getting the kids ready in the morning. We're going out to lunch. We're having beach dates. We have weekends. We don't have to ask anybody to go anywhere, take time off or get a shift covered. Like we don't have to do any of that. And it's so liberating. And I don't ever want to go back to the old American dream where you had to go to work, 80 hours a week and prove yourself and not enjoy life, basically. So
I remember that. I remember working, with my clients, and I don't regret any of it, by the way. But I do understand what you mean, and I understand what you mean about that whole, if you're going to be here and you're earning in Brazilian reais, you're committed. Like you're knee deep in the game.
Yeah, we're knee deep, and it's worth it. I mean, it's worth it just for the lifestyle alone, just for the fact that my kids can experience, the most beautiful places and beautiful people and learn a new language and live abroad. Like that's worth it in itself. And then the successful business is wonderful and important as well. But the life that we live here is one that we've been able to craft the way that we want and follow our dreams. And that's, the message is like, do what makes your heart happy and, and where you can be free to be who you want to be and be successful and, live the life you want.
Wow.
So there's a few, go ahead. You asked me, I'm going to look at some of these questions.
Well, I was going to say, how many are you guys averaging a birthday every other month?
Kind of. So this is all we see here. My birthday's in September and then her birthday's in October. I have 2 birthdays in October, but yeah, they're kind of spread out. Yeah, we have 2 birthdays in October, but every other month-ish, we're having a birthday party, which is fun. I love it. I love it.
Wow.
It's fun to have a big family. Some people are like, and when they hear our story and they talk about how we moved to Brazil, then they're like, and you did it with 5 kids. And I'm like, I wouldn't do it any other way. The kids are a big reason why we're here because we needed our dad back. We needed, I wanted to give them so much more than my small little uncultured white town in Reno, Nevada. Like I wanted them to see diversity and culture, which was really lacking where I grew up. And when I was growing up, I was like, one of like 5 Black students in my, graduating senior class. And so I struggled with that in a lot of different ways. And I was like, I don't want that for my kids. I want them to know and love people with all kinds of different shades and colors and hair and, hair texture and all those things. So I wanted to expose them to culture. And especially the culture in Salvador, all that Afro-Brazilian. Oh, so good. And the culture here is cool too, but it's a little different. But either way, we're still in Brazil and living it up. And it's great for families. I tell people who are like, should I move with my kids? Should I wait till they're older? I'm like, there's no better time than now, whether they're babies or teenagers. Go and have the time of your life. Like, it's okay. I feel safe with my kids. We haven't had any issues, any problems. I've never been mugged or had any sort of experience with violence, like seriously whatsoever, or I've never even seen it either. Like we've been so safe. So I tell people from my experience
is that I get so many questions, and every third or fourth question is it safe there? And I tell people, listen, Sao Paulo, Brazil is one of the largest cities in the world. It's as safe as any other large city. I don't want you leaving the train station at 10 o'clock at night, talking on your phone, walking oblivious. You would get robbed in Tokyo, London, where else have I lived? In any other major city in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things that's just wild about it. They act like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying that, you know, New York as well, even in the States, like, I'm like, guys, it's not like the United States is so much better and safer than Brazil. There are very dangerous areas too. And I say the same thing. Don't go in a dark alley at midnight, like just common sense. So, you know.
But a lot of people, they don't have that same common sense. They travel somewhere, and I guess they believe that the world, that people are just different, and that because all they see is us having, eating feijoada on the street and da-da-da, they think, well, I'll just go there and there's no problems there. Well, here's the interesting part. There are fewer problems here than there are in the United States. That's another thing I try to explain to people. They say, well, I read that there was violence in Brazil. Like, there is violence in Brazil, just like there's violence in America, except here, the violence isn't someone walking into a shopping center and executing people. It's just not like that.
It's just different.
You know, but people will take from it what you will. I always tell them, don't trust don't trust anyone who's not living it. Just find someone to get information from and talk to them about it.
Exactly. And do not watch the news. Don't believe the hype. It's just to sell you on fear. That's what the news does. Like, it's not true. And I think Rio especially has a bad rap from the 90s when there was all the drug lords and all that stuff happening. And I think people kind of misunderstand the favelas, and they think that all of Brazil or all of Rio is what is in the favelas. And I was like, no, those are pockets, and they're doing their own thing. I mean, I'm like, if you want to go in there, I mean, at your own risk, but if you
can we have a conversation? Do people ever ask you, hey, have you ever been to one? Because my thing is, I tell people all the time, I clutch the pearls. I've never been to one. I think maybe once I had a friend who brought me to a barbecue there, but as far as that, I'm like, I don't go to those places. I didn't live in poverty in America. Why would I go visit it here? And they're like, well, you should bring us videos from there. I don't believe in poverty porn either.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm gonna have a conversation about with some people here on YouTube. Yeah. Look what Mike.
Okay, true. I live in the suburbs in between DC and Baltimore, and people are getting robbed, carjacked, shot, etc. in my suburb city. Crime is everywhere, even in the suburbs. Yep. Thanks, Mike. I think as far as the favelas go, I actually think it's a beautiful place where you can really find like places where you can see kind of raw Brazilian culture, but what you see is people who don't live in a very pretty place, but you see that they have their own economy. They have their own shops that did not shut down during all of the quarantine and shutdown stuff we had here. But you see people thriving, and you see communities coming together. You see people supporting each other and loving each other. And they have, they don't always have the backing of the government. And so that's where kind of the drug
hardly ever. They never have the backing of the government. They just don't.
Yeah, they don't. Some of the favelas have, I don't know what you would call it. They're in prime areas. And like, for instance, Vidigal here is a prime real estate, and it's up on a hill, like facing the ocean. And I know foreigners who buy property in these favelas and build them up. There's Airbnbs in favelas. Now, some of them you like can rent and Airbnb out. They're like legal and they seem to be organized by the government. Some, right? They have water and like legal water and electricity. But anyway, I think it's easier to be afraid of what looks really packed and scary and dirty. I wouldn't recommend just going in there, but I think if you want an authentic experience, it's not such a scary place. I mean, not that you're going to hang out there, but I think that it's something else that's beautiful about Brazil, and it's just raw. It's people who are struggling, but who are doing their best and who are still happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those, the people who live there don't live there because they want to, but if they're going to live there, they try to make it the best that they can. I tell people all the time, the best thing you can do is hire Black people if that's what you want, because we can never really disassociate. We can have the conversation between racism and poverty in different places. That's a different conversation, but you can never really, go in there and think, wow, I'm just going to look at this place and just enjoy looking at it. Because my question is, why? Why do so many people enjoy going and looking at people who have less than they do? Like, what is the perverse thrill in that?
So I like I said when I started, I think that the favelas are beautiful, and I think it's if you are looking with the right eyes, you can see a lot of beauty in it. And they do so much art, all the tiles, all the painted levels of houses and sides of houses, and then you'll see like a perfectly clean, amazing flat soccer court in the middle of like millions, and that is like it's cool. It's art in a way.
So
It just
American
depends on
Brazilian, he said he never had a desire to see some favelas. He was real. He liked the beach. And we have a couple of people who piped in. One is Inspiration Primitive. Favelas have life. Our workers live in there and in here. And however, don't have any money.
Yeah. And that, I mean, it's hard because it is true poverty. It's real hard poverty. You see hungry, skinny kids on the street, all of it, and it is sad. And millions and millions and millions of Brazilians live in those situations. And it's really sad. And I feel like it's even more intense in Salvador. It is more intense in Salvador than I've seen it in Rio. But I've also seen generations who've lived and grown up in the favelas and made the choice to come out and do something with their lives and be better and go back and help. And I mean, that's the best you can hope for. I know Vidigal does have, and that's the thing about Rio. Vidigal has mansions there. So, and that's the thing about Rio that blows my mind is that there are literally mansions and then favelas right next to each other. Like, that's why people can't wrap their head around Rio and they think it's so dangerous because there are favelas everywhere. But I don't know. I think it's amazing.
Brother Craig Washington, who's a friend of mine, he has a very clear cut that a favela towards equal abomination. I think that that's something that really needs to be explored. It's one thing going into a place like that saying, okay, where can I maybe open a business or where can I do something to help people? But I've seen too many people that just want to go in there just to take pictures to say what? Here are people who are poor. I think that, and I'm going to go deep on this one. I think it especially bothers me to see Black people making zoo-like sport of other Black people, and I don't know if that makes them feel better that they were born in a shitty place like being killed in America, but at least they weren't born here. I don't know how that goes. We're going to have that conversation. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep.
I'm in the DMV between DC and the B-more, Baltimore. Yeah, crime don't stop here at all. I've got a couple buddies from Baltimore. I didn't know Baltimore was grimy like that. I had no idea.
I've never been there.
We get all very, very beautiful, pretty girls, and people are good. And Alimo.
Yep, and Alimo.
Janika, I wanted to respect your time. I don't know. Are you good to stay, or do you need to get out of here? Because
I'm good. Let me look on my stream and see if there's anything else I can answer. Are you guys planning to open another big jump throughout the country? How about Brasilia? It would be great. I'm in the trampoline business myself, small time though. Where are you? Alexandra Sydney Santos. Are you in Brazil, Alexandra? That was a while ago, but yes, we do. We would love to keep the dream alive and keep opening up trampoline parks. And like I said, that was on hold because of the pandemic, but if we're going to stay here, we're going to go big. Here's my son. Come say hi, Drew. Gotta lean in. Hi. This is Thiago. He's getting ready for bed. Read my book. This is Yusef. He lives in Sao Paulo. Hi.
Hey.
Okay.
I'm alive.
Yeah, I'm alive. So yeah, we want to. The desire is there. We just need to give it a little time, see how this year plays out, and make sure that everything's stable before we make any big business decisions. So let me finish. Hello from Espiritu Santo. Stay strong, be positive, be grateful. Hello. This Yusef is the singer or just a YouTuber with the same name? Have you got that before? Is there a Yusef singer?
I don't know. I've never heard of him. I'm sure there is somewhere.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's see that. Someone else asked that too. Wanda Suplique. Okay. So about the price of feijoada. Tá muito caro. I don't know what the price of feijoada is. I always make it at home. Do you make your own feijoada, Yusef?
No. I when I cook at home, it's never. I don't cook Brazilian food in Brazil. Like, why would I do that? Why would I cook food that I can just go get legit around the corner? I can just go down to Paulista Avenue or go to any one of the restaurants my friends and I go to and get some whatever it is that I want actually made by somebody who knows what they're doing.
It's the beautiful thing about being single. You don't have to cook for anyone. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I don't know if it's the being single or I don't have 5 children. That's just, that's brutal.
Yeah, you can't be messing around. I got an army to feed. I cook at home. Holy smokes, there's a ton. Okay. My computer just updated. Okay, hey there. So Yusef, why don't you maybe tell my guys a little bit about you and what you do so I can read some of these questions.
Okay. Well, I'll do a couple of things then. One, just talking about food, let me give you guys a quick little overview of some of the food that I just eat on the daily. Like, this is not special. This is on my Instagram, and you guys can catch me on Instagram. Here, let me show you. This is right across from my house. Bam. You see that? That's not a special place. That's just across the street from my house. For about $4 US, I can eat as much of that as I can possibly fit into my gut, plus all the sides. There's nothing better than coming home from the gym after lifting heavy weights and eating a bunch of meat and vegetables. That's heaven. That's heaven. Now, let's say I want to go get some other food from a place like Mineiro Food, which anybody who knows Minas Gerais knows Mineiros makes some of the best food in Brazil. Shout out in the comments if you know what this is. Vaca atolada. My goodness, I love this stuff.
Wow.
My goodness. When you bring the family, we're going to this restaurant. This is a restaurant we are definitely going to go to.
What is that? Looks delicious.
Vaca atolada.
Is it
It's a beef bones with vegetables, green. It's hard to describe, but it's so. You haven't had that?
I've had many things that actually look like that, but I guess not specifically that. No.
Okay.
Yeah, boiling things in pots like that. Yeah, like that almost looks like muqueca as well. Muqueca, yeah.
So here's where we are. For the people on your channel who don't know who I am, my name is YusefWateef. I've lived in Brazil for about 6 years now. I've lived in about 15 countries. I run a couple of small different businesses. I do a little in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, things like that. I also have an expat relocation services business, which I help people come to Brazil and get their paperwork done. It's a myriad process, but that's what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years. I do quite a bit in Brazil with my Brazilian friends. I also run Black expats in Brazil. I'm not quite sure if anyone here, let's see. I will give you guys a couple of things. One, I'll say join us on Black expat in Brazil. There. And I'm going to put that on the screen and show the. Let's see, where is it? For some reason, I can't. There it is.
What you got?
Sure, this screen. This is kind of our central hub. It's Black Expats in Brazil. It's our website, and it's got Our mission statement: we're all Black expats from many different countries who are living throughout Brazil. We're here to help each other adjust to life in one of the most culturally diverse countries in the world while enjoying everything Brazil has to offer. We're learning and growing culturally while supporting each other through everyday joys and tribulations of our expat lives. Bam. That sounds awesome.
Amazing. That does sound fantastic. So people were over here getting a kick out of our conversation on what's better, Sao Paulo or Rio. And they were like, you guys are more Brazilian than you think. There were some funny comments about that. But there's an interesting question I would like to answer. It's about homeschooling. And someone said, is homeschooling illegal in Brazil? And I just want to say that it's not illegal, but it's not legal either. It's just not regulated. And so it's in this interesting limbo where there is a little bit of gray area, especially for expats, for foreigners who come. And like what's illegal is not having your kids in school, but my kids are technically enrolled in school, but attending online. So there are some ways around it. There are many groups here lobbying and advocating for homeschool. And I think there's some good legislation coming that's going to change that, especially now after all this homeschool, Zoom schooling. I think that's going to change. So that's that homeschool question. So I'm sorry I interrupted your flow with your.
No. Hey, what you just said is really important. You know, I don't have any kids, but I could only imagine if I did, that would be one of the first things I'd worry about. We have Black Expats in Brazil on Instagram, where we share some of our adventures and things we've gone to and places that we've been, and everything from drums to bird parks to just awesome stuff. Just awesome stuff that we do. We would have a lot of different get-togethers beforehand. We would get together at least twice a month. Usually we'd have one thing indoors where we'd sit together and do things, then another thing outdoors. But you know, we have a great time. We have such a good time.
Yeah, I wonder if that's where we met, because I know for sure I'm following you on Instagram, but I'm also a part of the Black expats in Brazil. And so I must have seen you there as well.
So yeah, maybe that's it. Boom. If you go to Mina's, plan ahead with your diet.
Is there a lot of good food there?
I'm guessing she thinks there is, because I know Mineiro food can get me to the point where I don't even want to do anything else for the rest of the day. So let's see. He said, I'd love to see a Brazilian do a documentary titled American Favelas and travel to the U.S. showing what certain cities look like. There might be some money in that idea.
That's good. That's a good idea.
And we've got you're very brave. Congratulations.
Colocar uma legenda. I don't think can you put legendas on a live or subtitles on live?
Wait, say that again.
Can you put subtitles on live, or can you just do that after?
The subtitles normally come on after the video has been processed through the system.
Yeah. So people are saying like the favelas are safe. They would visit there. They did say it's sad, to see them, making them look like a zoo, but these people are awesome. I think that's about it.
So I think there it is for anybody else who wants to go on our Instagram. I'll give everybody this last one there. I'm going to find yours as well. This is my personal Instagram for everybody who wants to. And everybody, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, not just on my channel. I want you to go to her channel as well, because without these kind of collaborations, we stagnate. And these things are awesome. These are how we get to have so much wisdom and information shared.
It's true. It's very, very true.
The Patreon is where she's definitely going to be back. And we're going to talk on Patreon about the paperwork of opening a business in Brazil. That's going to be something that, we're going to dig in on that one. And lastly, make sure you follow Our Brazilian Life. For everybody on her team, follow me as well. But for everybody on my team, make sure you follow her. I want to see her subscriptions definitely go up from there. So
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll say that to say this. So here's one of the things we're going to do. We're going to say goodbye to them, but don't you hang up, because when I hang up with them, you and I are going to get to have a chat afterwards. All right?
Okay.
You got any parting words for them?
You know what, guys? I love Brazil. I'm grateful for this life. If you guys are thinking about visiting Brazil, I recommend doing it even now during a pandemic, because the flights are empty. Actually, okay, so I guess you can't get in the borders unless you're a resident or like a Brazilian right now. But in the future, you should visit. Don't be afraid. Come and enjoy the beaches. Brazil's an incredible, wonderful place with so much to see and do and taste and try and dance and all of that. So I'm a big Brazil advocate. Bring your kids, bring the babies, and come and have a good time. That's it.
All right.
And follow me on social media.
Wait,
And
what is the website to your jump park? We never put that up.
I know. Can I put up a chat on here? This is the, and I have a Instagram of the jump park, so I'm writing in the chat. It's just bigjumpusa.com. Did you see that?
Hold on a second.
bigjumpusa.com. It's also Big Jump USA on Instagram.
It's the red circle with white letters?
Yeah. Yep, that's us. Hey, come say hi. This is one of my other girls.
Hi.
This is my Isa. I'm live with Yusef. He's in Sao Paulo. What'd you just do right now?
Soccer.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Very nice. Soccer's back. All the sports were canceled. Swimming, gymnastics, soccer, and we just were able to start this week.
There you go.
Mom, they're gonna have the championships soon.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So that's us. That's my park. We clean and sterilize it every hour after every session. We're super clean. We really focus on all of those COVID guidelines, alcohol stations, limited capacity, masks, all the things. So there's just a lot of fun stuff going on. It's great for families and kids. It's really good exercise. It's really important to get the kids off the screens, because I know that's been happening a lot these days. But this is like a perfect place to do it. We have birthday parties and events, which is, just fun. And we do the whole package: decorations, food, salgados, brigadeiro, cupcakes, everything. So we have the whole party package, and we're just always having fun.
So I'm gonna part with one bounce room story.
Okay.
So we as a group in the United States, now all of us range in age, let's call it between 20 and 30 at the time. Mm-hmm. And we rented out a jump room, and we said we're going to go have, a big kids jump party Saturday night. There was about 12 of us. We rented it out for 4 hours. Let me tell you something. Half an hour later, at least half the people just fell out.
Yeah.
Because they went crazy during that first 20 minutes. Everybody was doing backflips and throwing balls, and then it started to slow down, and then about an hour later, it was like 2 people left, and everybody else was like, yeah. Children doing it, they have infinite energy. But I'm gonna tell you, as an adult, that's good cardio.
Great cardio, killer cardio. And you're storing places you didn't even know existed, because the trampolines make you use your Achilles tendon and your calves. And also when you're jumping, your shoulders are sore the next day. You're like, how are my shoulders sore? But such good exercise. And if you come with friends or with kids, you just play. You're just playing, but you're getting amazing cardio.
We'll leave on a compliment for you. She said, in beautiful earrings.
Thank you. They're pineapples.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. And you and I can hang around afterwards.
Ciao, ciao.